Hey guys, welcome back to another Sunday live stream at Trace Trades. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click the link in the description so you can join the server and attend these streams live and participate in the Q&A that's going to follow us going through the weekly watch list. But first, let's go through the watch list. Again, I'm going to save more like broad market thoughts for the end once we go through all the individual names. So just keep that in mind like as we sort of work our way through everything. First is Apple. I'm going to cover this more when we talk about broad market, but I do think that the lows that we started to hit on Friday are pretty significant in terms of like I could see that being the bottom for now. We're at about like a 6% correction right now, which is in line with normal corrections. If we start to move further down, it would mean like something's like fundamentally changing, which isn't really the case. I think we just saw some more rotations combined with like some worries about like that government shutdown, and then into the end of the quarter. But again, I'm gonna talk more about that stuff. Apple though, Apple's coming down. That really low wick is also a retest of this like 137, 138 level. Which is it's been respected in the past, and we pull up the weekly, it becomes a lot more clear. So if that's the low, I could totally see that. Also, just looking at the weekly, we're above our dark blue line here, which is our 20 SMA. So it's looking good to sort of reverse and start to move a little bit higher here. Also have a firm. A firm's more of a 1 hour trade. We made a breakout from this little triangle here, and now we're in a whole new like falling wedge. So that's what I would try to play off of. Play off this break, play off of the 50 SMA break. Really just keep your eyes on this 120 level, and you should be good. This is more of a shorter term trade, so look at maybe weeklies or the following week. So this is again going to be labeled as more high risk. But the setup's there, and Affirm has been a lot of fun to trade recently, so maybe we could keep that going into this week. Next is Microsoft. Microsoft has a little bit of this 1 hour flag coming up on this gap at 290, like 60 region. That also lines up with the 50 SMA. I'm not going to say that we're going to play this for upside just yet. I want to see that break into the gap with volume, because again, we have a little bit more resistance here along with this little reversion point. So I definitely want to see how it reacts before we decide the trade. But either way, like this level is going to be significant. We're going to get a move that we could definitely profit off of. If we break it with volume, of course, we're going to try to play it to some upside. Or if we start to like break it with little volume, or maybe even see some rejection coming in, playing it to downside to around this like 287, like 80 level could be a very profitable trade. So that's what I'm looking at for Microsoft. Um, Again, just another shorter term, like a little bit higher risk setup. Next is Netflix. Netflix has been one that we've been watching for a while. This weekly chart, we called this out way back when it was in like that 530s area. Now we're pushing 620s. Really, I just want to see this keep making new highs. If we look at the daily, like we have some good retest levels here around like the 600 level to play it for upside back to like 615. Or if we just watch, get that breakout above 620, that's probably going to be a big watch for me in terms of day trades. We also got PENN. PENN really just looks like it's. I don't use fibs that often, but PENN really looks like a good golden pocket candidate. If you don't know what that is, it's when like you see a reversal in the trend around that 0.618 or that 0.707 mark. Both of those marks have shown to be in the past like pretty significant in terms of reversals, especially when like the longer term trend is looking up. That's not necessarily the case for PENN. PENN's seen a lot of consolidation, but I feel like what we can get out of this golden pocket bounce is maybe a clear over this 86 level. And since we're at 78 here, like again, that would be a pretty profitable trade. Because at the same time we're bouncing off this 0.618 level, we're also nearing the top of the range of like this shorter term consolidation here. So this was like 0.70, like 77 down to like 70. So a break of this along with the golden pocket bounce, along with our MAs stacking up and us clearing all of them on Friday, I think that sets us up pretty well for some upside. So I'm going to be looking at the break of 80 to take a day trade or maybe a short swing here. And I'm definitely going to have my eyes on this 80 0.50 level because again, like got some reversion here, another fib level. We're just going to be looking at that. Next name Snap. Again, Snap, we've had this wedge On watch for a while, broke it, moved way, way higher, and then fell straight down. I was really surprised how quickly we fell down from these all-time high levels, even though like the market was weak. I am very surprised how fast this sold off. I think this might like be a pretty good indication of it being oversold, especially because we reclaimed the 50 within the same week. I think I'm looking at this more as a retest, and I'm gonna wait for confirmation above like 76.80 to 77, like that area there, in order to like size back into the trade. Maybe take again a little bit of a shorter swing. But this is still very much like a nimble and be light market, so make sure like you're not oversizing into anything. Even if you are getting monthlies, I might like consider getting something like 2 monthlies out. Like December contracts are starting to look good right now. So again, just take everything with a grain of salt when you're looking at swings. Next is Tesla. Tesla's just got this like flag here. It's not even like a real true flag, but this consolidation while the market was crazy weak, Tesla pretty much all dips were bought up. Just looks very, very strong. If you take a look on the hourly, like it's a little bit easier to see. Reclaimed this 50. That's probably what I'll be using to sort of gauge this trade as we go into next week, and watching just again for a break out of here. Or again, you could just wait till we clear 800 and use that as a sort of mark for your day trading. And then lastly is ZS. Really what we're seeing here is just a defend of our little gap up here. And it looks really good. It's holding the 50. Again, defended this gap, got a gap above that we can go and potentially try and fill. But again, like that's the one I'm talking about with sort of staying nimble. If we do break this level, like the trade actually looks really, really bad. So you have to be ready to cut your small size. Like I would start off with some small size and be ready to cut that. Like once we break this level with meaningful volume. Whew. All right, so I sort of spoke about broad market a lot when I was going through the individual names, and that's just because like it's kind of hard to read right now. I could definitely see this low on Friday being the low point. If we grab our like price tool here, just drag it down. Like this is about a 6% correction here. That's in line with historical corrections. So if we do start to move up, start to reclaim like this 436 level, I could definitely see us like returning all the way up to like these 40s, these like 40 to 45s this week even. And yeah, that'd be a pretty violent move. I think it's more likely that we shop around a little below 440. But again, I think we do have meaningful upside this week. Again, just watch for these lower levels. If we do break this 433 level again, it just looks really bad again, especially if we don't like push back up above 436 before breaking back below 433. So these are the two levels I'm watching for this week. Long story short, I think we see some upside, but I don't think it's a good enough read to be able to size up again, start using larger position size. I do still think it's a day traders or like a short-term traders market, and then I would still like even with that philosophy, just still keep like a lot smaller size than usual. And then the Q's the same. Like it looked really, really bad going into Friday, sold off quite a bit, and then that dip was like really bought up. I would say SPY looks better than the Q's. But again, if the Q's do start to push, I think it could. I think a test of like the 8 EMA up here around like 364, excuse me. That's like kind of guaranteed for this week. And then after that, like the Q's become a lot harder to read. I'd be watching this like 360 level probably. After we like go up and visit 364 for like then that's like our chop range, like 360 to 364, and then you could determine upside or downside based on like breaking of either of those levels. Whew, so that's broad market and some individual names. Some pretty decent setups going into this week. Again, I think this week's going to be pretty interesting. Some definitely real potential for strong upside, especially now that we're in this new quarter. A lot of these funds are repositioning now. So I think there's a pretty high chance that we see good upside this week. Again, though, this market's all about staying nimble, staying light, survive to the next day, protect your capital, and knowing all that, we're going to take some trades, but number one concern for us is account preservation. So again, thank you guys so much for coming to this Sunday stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, click that link in the description, join the server live, and then you could participate in some Q&A and charting requests that we're about to have. Again, this stream is completely free to attend. You do not have to be a premium member. This is purely about looking into the next week, maybe answering some questions or about like concepts or individual names, and just trying to make everyone a better trader. So, yeah, make sure you click that link in the description.